Hello everyone, hi, it's Mita. This is going to be so quick, I promise you. I was just doing something and then I saw this on the news, like online, and I just had to stop and come here and speak to you very briefly, because this is going back to all the red flags, okay, not all, almost all the red flags that I have been warning you about constantly. And of course now there are, just there's this story, it just dropped, I think like yesterday and a few hours ago as well. It's continuing and it's gonna teach us. Remember, we are always using celebrities as a form of studying, not a form of gossip. We're not about gossip but about research purposes, because these are the common people that we know about. Our charts, we know about them, and we can all see what is happening because it's reported on the news. So therefore it becomes a very good opportunity for us to learn. Let's go in and discuss. Welcome to Synastry Expert. My name is Mita. This is a channel whereby we discuss everything that relates to relationships, your relationship with your husband, your wife, your family member, your business partner, your political opponent, country between country, literally anything that relates to the other thing. Person relates to another person, country to another country, state to another state. That is our business here, and I study only relationships most of the times. And of course, as always, I also study death related themes, deep related themes, dark themes that nobody wants to talk about, and obviously legalities as well. Very interesting for us. But right now, please look at these charts. I'm not going to be showing you what is happening in terms of like pointing, but just observe the charts. So these are the charts of Two-Face. He's a huge megastar, African star born in Nigeria, and I think a whole lot of people know about him. I mean, even I think other countries, they know about Two-Face, right? And remember, the world is becoming one. So eventually we are all going to know about each other's ways of life. The social media has made us know about each other as if we were growing up in the same countries. Now we listen to the same music, we dance to the same beats, we are exposed now not only just to America, but we are exposed to the entire world. And so, but I think Two-Face, has been known even in America way before this social media and decentralization that is happening right now. So, and of course, we do know again about Two-Face because he's married. He was married, actually they divorced now, with Annie, and we know Annie from the young wealthy and African show, Netflix show. And now Two-Face is married to Natasha. It's a new marriage with a new baby, so very new, everything is very new. So basically Two-Face was with Annie for years and years and years, and we learned from the Netflix show that he had been unfaithful to her. I'm not going to say allegedly because this came directly from Annie, and Two-Face admitted it on the show. So he had been unfaithful to her for many times in their marriage, and she forgave him, and eventually just recently, he's the one who decided to leave Annie and go on to marry Natasha. Now, Two-Face was born in 1975, 18 September, same birth month like me. This would be known as a Virgo sun, but the thing is, he is a real Virgo sun because he's born on the 18th. Mostly when we know that mostly in Vedic, after the 15th and usually after the 17th as well, then the sun moves into another sign. So on the 18th here, it had moved to the Virgo sign. So he is a real Virgo. Not all September borns are real Virgos, in terms of sidereal. So, so he's a Virgo, this one, Two-Face. And when it comes to Natasha, the new wife, she was born on the 14th of November 1994, and Annie, the ex-wife, was born on the 13th of November, one day apart in terms of their birth dates, but then obviously Annie was born in 1984, so 10 years prior Natasha. Now, age-wise, these are good ages for me. I don't have a problem because she's 31, he's 50 years old, and she's 41. I know there are some people who don't want to see a 30-year-old dating a 50-year-old, but me personally, I don't mind a 30-year-old dating a 50-year-old or a 41-year-old dating a 50-year-old. I don't mind. So now, in terms of what's been happening in their charts, like recently now, Two-Face was arrested, or was was taken actually for questioning. He was not arrested. He was just taken in handcuffs for questioning because they had a conflict, allegedly. This part is alleged, with Natasha in a public place, whereby Natasha is alleged to have broken a glass or a bottle, and then she cut her hand, and she allegedly cut other people or Two-Face. Nobody knows the story, so there's a lot of stuff being said online right now. And then, so there is a whole lot of domestic violence that is being alleged when it comes to this new marriage, mind you, and with a new baby. And in this new marriage, remember, he's the one who divorced his wife, his ex-wife Annie, after so many years of hurting her over and over again through infidelity. So now, when it comes to domestic violence, which is something I am passionate about, and it's something I want to talk about when it comes to my astrology, it's not something I'm scared to talk about. I am not afraid to talk about the real life things that are affecting our lives in literally our real lives. Okay, so I'm not only about the stars, but I'm about what the stars are saying in terms of our real life, and how can we use the knowledge that we learn from the stars to apply it in our lives, to better our lives, to better our societies. That is my mission. That is what I'm doing. That is what I've been doing. And I have been getting comments of people who aren't afraid, who aren't fond of these serious topics. But these are real life topics, and I am not about I'm not about to entertain you guys, I mean, there are people who are doing so good entertainment. I don't want to be those people. I want to use this platform, and I do know that I have constant people who are serious about these things, who are really also passionate about bringing practicality in our communities through astrology. So now, remember, I've been telling you guys, when it comes to, ladies and gentlemen, when it comes to Saturn and the moon in Synastry, I have been saying since before the popularity of AI. By the way, speaking of AI, I would like you guys to use AI, because I have been in the testing zone, because I had my cluster of planets in my Scorpio, and when I have that cluster of Scorpio, my research mode becomes highly active. So I wanted to test what is the AI saying in terms of Synastry, how it responds when you ask questions, how it responds when you are doing things online. And I can assure you guys that when it comes to descriptions and definitions of, okay, if this planet is conjunct this planet, what will happen, those basic descriptions, AI is number one, is actually much better than us people. So I would encourage you guys to use AI for any definition that you want. If you aren't unsure of what an aspect means, go directly to AI, go directly to ChatGPT, go directly to Grok. They will tell you, because what they've been doing, they are collecting data from all the books in the world and all the websites in the world and all the YouTubers in the world that are speaking about astrology, and they gather that information and they arrange it obviously according to whatever topic you're asking them, and they give you the best out of all the answers, or a repetitive answer or idea. So basically, if one YouTuber says moon in Saturn does this, and the other YouTuber says this, and then another blog says the same thing, and the book says the same thing, and an article says the same thing, so Grok will give you that answer, or ChatGPT will give you all that answer, Gemini, they're all going to give you that answer. So it is the most simplest thing that you can do to save your money and not contact us for these things, for such things. Trust me, just go to your ChatGPT, your Gemini, your what's the other one, your Facebook, who knows, WhatsApp, because WhatsApp has all this now. I literally went through my research mode to test everything. So yeah, I can assure you. But there is a trick that I saw. If you are absolutely clueless about what is happening with astrology, what is happening with Synastry, it will just make you be convinced of something that really is not even there. Because I found in my research, when I was testing all these AIs, that most of the time, if you don't know what you're looking for, you're going to believe the answer that you're getting. So it works perfectly when you already know what you're looking for, because it does hallucinate a whole lot. AI, it does hallucinate, and because of how it represents, how it presents that information. It presents it in a way that is soft, that is trying to speak to your soul, and you're going to believe it, unless of course you are an expert or you are at least knowledgeable. Then you know that this is not the actual thing. So use it definitely for descriptions, for knowing the general things. Don't waste your money and contact me and say, oh Mita, just give me what's the vibe. Basically, for the vibe, go to AI. For knowing what the aspects mean, go to AI. Literally, save your money, go to AI. Don't be going to an astrologer. And then when it comes to astrologers or Synastry experts like myself, come to us when you are now at a stuck point of I want to know the when, because what I have found is that the AI cannot at this point. Maybe it's going to advance in the future, but at this point they aren't able to tell you and calculate the events of the future. Even when I checked when I tested for the past events, trying to see the prediction, or when it comes to the prediction, because that's what I specialize in. So I want to test my own skill and see if I'm falling behind with the world, or if I'm still outdated in my advance, and I tested even for the past. And when it comes to the past, they just made so many mistakes, weird answers, not correct predictions. Like they couldn't tell me the exact dates of things when they happened, because I know how to get that, I know how to calculate that. And so when it comes to predictions, do use AI with caution. And this is where I come in to say that when you have your analysis from AI and now you are stuck or you want to be sure, do contact me, and then I will obviously advance you or take it further to give you a definitive answer. If you already have your AI analysis, then you can tell me, and then obviously I don't work from scratch. I'm just verifying your own data. I'm helping you with your own data that you have. So this is like the cheapest service that is available right now. And I love advancement. I love like when the world is advancing, technology is advancing, I want to do that. But with everything, I want to test it first. Like I find it difficult to believe in things unless I test it. I see if it works. I get disappointed. I have a difficulty following beliefs, any belief, religious or anything, without proof, without something tangible. It's my chart, so. But anyway, that's that. And so anyway, back to what I was saying before I got distracted. I've been telling you guys all this time that when it comes to Saturn and moon, oh my gosh, okay, I'm just gonna use the 5 more minutes because it's so long. When it comes to Saturn and moon, I've been telling you that this is the clue, and I've been warning you that it does tell you that there will be commitment. There will be some sort of a commitment. I don't care who you are, how's your chart. When it comes to Saturn and moon in Synastry, there will be some sort of a commitment. This is a given. But as I've been warning you guys, it doesn't always say or tell us if you guys are going to be happy, you're not going to be happy. It doesn't, okay? But we just know there's going to be commitment. For everything else, we need to know the sign, obviously. We need to know your ascendant or the house in where applicable. We need to know the other aspects to the conjunction itself, and blah blah blah, right? And when it comes to Natasha and Two-Face, guess what? His moon is attached to what? To his Saturn. So immediately he divorced his wife to be with her. Why? Because with Annie there is no conjunction of Saturn and moon whatsoever, and so it was easy for him to just leave Annie behind, divorce her, and move on, because the Saturn and moon, when they together, they want to be together. They will always be, it's always gonna be like this. And okay, according to my research, and I stand by it because I've seen it hundreds and hundreds of times now, when it comes to the abuse itself, I also have been warning you guys many years now. I say many years, I've only been here about 3 years, but I've also been warning you about the conjunction of Saturn and Mars. Remember, I've told you that when Saturn and Mars are together, there's going to be a physical altercation. And when it comes to their Synastry, Natasha and Two-Face, his Saturn is conjunct with her Mars, which, by the way, his Saturn is opposite her Saturn, and therefore her Mars is also opposite the moon. So that whole conjunction, the glue is opposite to the physical altercation, and hence these allegations of domestic violence. And it is alleged that the violence is coming from her, because if you look at her chart, she's the one with the Mars. I've been warning you about Mars. I've been talking about Mars. I've been trying to make it so that people remember not to romanticize it. I know it's been romanticized quite a lot, and yeah, and then she's also with the Saturn there, which is another hard aspect when it comes to moon. Like on the moon, it becomes very hard, right? But just recently, when was it? Like what, last week, when I talked about the Pluto impact when it comes to domestic violence. You remember, you guys, I also showed you in that chart the moon and Pluto aspect. When moon and Pluto are together, there is highly likely going to be domestic violence, and it's going to make people not want to separate. I mean, this one with the glue as well is just gonna be difficult for them to ever separate. But in any case, look, she's got her moon in Pisces, and he's got his Pluto in what? Virgo, opposite the moon, directly aspecting the moon. Again, they have the Pluto and the moon. This is like what, the third thing I've been warning you guys about, well, recently, mostly when it comes to the moon and the Pluto, because I wanted to talk about domestic violence right out. They also have another thing which I'm not sure I have emphasized when it comes to, warning you guys or warning people about the Pluto and Rahu together. Wow, careful there. Pluto and it's in Scorpio. Careful there. And then another thing, which is one of my first videos that I did, was about Mars and Lilith. I know when I spoke about it, it made a whole lot of people want to romanticize it because of the way I spoke about it in the first videos. But then in my documentary, whereby I was making the non-verbal explanation of the same thing, I showed you guys that it can also be very harmful. But I think a lot of people didn't see then, because I had stopped, talking with a loud voice and because actually when I started my channel, I was pregnant, so I could be, a bit loud, there were no children around me and whatnot. And then after I gave birth, my voice lowered so down, the volume lowered so down, and everybody was like, we can't hear you anymore, Amita, what's happening? Because, I'll be like trying to keep the house in a calm environment, just, what I'm speaking, it doesn't affect the energy. So I've been trying to contain stuff, and now my kids are growing up again, they're growing older. And I'm gonna have my last one going to school very soon, so happy about that. But anyway, and then it's just gonna be me and my husband during the day. But anyway, going back to something that I spoke about, Mars and Lilith. Mars and Lilith, they can form this thing of, oh my gosh, I just want to do dirty things with you. I want to get down with you. I want to do a whole lot of stuff on that body of yours. And you too, when you look at me, you just feel the same. You just, you want to devour me. You want to, do stuff. But then it becomes extremely dangerous, particularly when Mars is in agitated signs or agitating signs, such as is the case here in Taurus, because Mars in Taurus is agitated, so anything can be a trigger. And here with the Lilith here, it becomes a trigger point, because Lilith is like that naughty, a demon speaking to you, making you want to do a whole lot of forbidden things. And Mars is very action orientated, so when Mars is challenged, Mars is gonna go for it, so that's what people should understand. That's what you guys should understand. But in any way, so why was Annie with two faces for so many years, and two children, and with other alleged children coming out of outside of the marriage, and then she didn't want to leave, she didn't want to go, she believed in their love, she forgave him over and over and over again, which is a common story for women. And why is that? Now if we look at her chart, she's got, first of all, her Saturn and her Mars, which is opposite his Saturn. This is another thing I told you guys about, that if anytime I see a chart and I see a conjunction of Saturn and Mars, and a conjunction, and an opposition of Saturn and Mars, I am going to choose the chart with an opposition of Saturn and Mars any day. And then when it comes to why she stayed, it always goes back to the Saturn. How is her Saturn? Because this is the way we see the commitment. She stayed because her Saturn is in Libra, exalted. Saturn in Libra believes every little detail about marriage. It wants to make the marriage work, whether the marriage is good or bad. The Saturn in Libra says, I am committed because this is my highest point, to be committed, to see marriage work, to see things work. Marriage is about forgiving. Partnership is about forgiving the other party. So I will do that. I will forgive. I will try to be fair. I will try to be just. And she did it over and over and over and some more. And now, another big thing that is here, which I have been warning you guys about, because I love you and because I am very honest with you and I'm very practical with you, and I want you guys to be safe. His Neptune, which is conjunct with Rahu, is with her Mercury, Ketu, and Uranus. Anytime when you get Mercury together with Neptune, there will be distortion of information. So it's either we're going to get lies here, we're going to get promises that never get fulfilled, particularly with the Rahu here, exaggerated promises that never get fulfilled, things. You guys get the picture. You guys get the picture of what happens when you have Neptune and Mercury together. And now, another critical point here is that his Saturn is making an in conjunction to her Venus. You don't want to see this. This is what you don't want to see for a happy marriage. If you're looking for happiness in a marriage, you don't want to see this. You don't want to see an in conjunction of these two planets, Venus and Saturn. You can have a square. A square is just telling us many possibilities. Could be a physical distance, work, responsibility, things that can be worked on. But when it comes to an in conjunction, it becomes a bit worrying, But if you look at the whole chart, maybe there's only one in conjunction, which means, okay, fine, we can work with it. Because sometimes it can happen that, as in this case, her Venus is in conjunct his Saturn, right? But then her Saturn compared to his Venus, it makes a sextile. So this is why they still work together, because there's one part that is okay and the other part is not okay. So she keeps working at it because her Saturn is agreeing with his unionship style, with his Venus, whereas he's the one, his commitment, his Saturn is just not into it, and which was literally how we really saw it, according to how they spoke about it in that Netflix show. So basically what we see in Synastry is truly what we see in real life. But the thing is that I'm so afraid for people to take a blanket, of a conjunction and assume it's always going to be the same. It does change. Aspects do change things. Your chart, your ascendant does change things, because I have, even myself, when I consult, I would literally have two similar charts a day, similar ages, because I guess my clientele is of a similar age. I would have two similar placements, but then what I tell people, it will be totally different, because there would be certain aspects that make it a total different story from one party to another party. I can tell somebody that this one is not good for you, but the same aspect, I for the other person, I say this one is fine because of the aspects that maybe are canceling the impact, or whereby they are enforcing the impact. All of these things do matter. So I wanted to just emphasize about these warnings. And of course, and as always, look at your own chart, because it can be definitely different from the next person's chart. This is Mita. I'll chat to you soon, and check out my website, book, and contact me for verification of your AI analysis. A bientôt. Ciao, ciao. Ciao, ciao, ciao.